Sunny beaches and star-studded red carpets make California and Hollywood seem like dream destinations. But beneath the glamour lies a darker side. From shocking scandals to hidden secrets, these truths will change how you see the entertainment capital. Get ready as we pull back the curtain and reveal what Hollywood prefers to keep hidden. Let's get started. Number 20. Thomas Edison's monopoly.
The light bulb. We're all familiar with it. Its light shines across the globe. But what about the man most associated with this invention? How did a telegrapher from Ohio go from inventing improvements to the telegraph to effectively creating the motion picture industry? And what lies, tricks, and deceptions did he use to get there?
Thomas Edison played a big role in getting the film industry started. He invented the kinetograph, one of the first motion picture cameras, and built the Black Maria, the first film studio in New Jersey. He also held many patents on film equipment and helped form the Motion Picture Patents Company, MPPC, in 1908, which controlled how movies were made and shown. The MPPC, also known as the Edison Trust, formed a monopoly by enforcing patents and keeping independent filmmakers in check. To avoid this, many filmmakers moved to California, particularly Los Angeles, where the sunny weather and varied landscapes made it ideal for filming, and safely out of Edison's reach. In 1915, a court case dissolved the MPPC, ending Edison's control. However, by that time, Hollywood had already become the center of American filmmaking, thanks to the filmmakers who fled his monopoly. Ironically, Edison's early efforts and strict control helped shape the film industry's move west, turning Hollywood into the film capital it is today. Number 19. The intrusive surveillance of old Hollywood. These days, celebrities go to great lengths to protect their privacy, but stars of old Hollywood had it just as bad, if not worse, due to the tight control studios had over them. Actors were constantly under pressure and watched closely by those behind the scenes. Studios didn't shy away from using shady tactics, like bugging private spaces or hiring friends and publicists to secretly spy on their stars. Judy Garland, for instance, was betrayed by someone close to her who worked behind her back, destroying her privacy and gaining control over her personal life. Sammy Davis Jr. had a similar experience when his romance with screen legend Kim Novak was sabotaged. It's said that Harry Cohn, head of Columbia Pictures, hired mobsters to intimidate Davis Jr. and end the relationship. These manipulative methods weren't uncommon, showing just how far studios would go to keep a tight grip on their actors, often at the expense of their well-being. These extreme tactics reveal the darker side of old Hollywood, where the need for control overshadowed any respect for personal privacy. In the end, the stars of the Golden Age had little freedom in their personal lives as studios prioritized power over their well-being. Number 18. Desperation to fit into Hollywood's culture. Hollywood has always had this underlying sense of desperation. People trying to make it in the industry. Actors, musicians, and artists are constantly competing for roles, deals, or even just a bit of recognition. But the real challenge isn't just getting your foot in the door. It's fitting into the mold that executives and power players expect. As they struggle to break in, many hopefuls end up compromising their personal values, political views, or original ideas just to fit the industry standards. They start saying and doing things not because they believe in them, but because they want to be liked or accepted by the people around them. This need for approval creates an insecure, competitive atmosphere. Talent alone isn't enough.
You shouldn't believe all that banana oil that Dora Bailey and the columnists dish out. Now try to get this straight. There is nothing between us. There has never been anything between us.
You need to know the right people and live up to the expectations set by the gatekeepers. This often means setting aside your creativity to meet the demands from those at the top. The pressure is so intense that many end up adopting an image or persona that's far from who they really are. In the end, Hollywood becomes less about talent and more about conformity, networking, and image building to succeed. Number 17, the power of old Hollywood contracts.
Part of that choice is mine, Miss Lamont, and I just won't do it.
You got a 5-year contract, honey. You do what RF says.
These days, actors have the freedom to pick projects based on their personal preferences, but it wasn't always like that. In the past, actors were stuck under strict studio contracts that controlled pretty much every part of their careers. These contracts were long-term and didn't leave much room for negotiation. Actors had little choice but to take whatever roles were given to them, and refusing to work could lead to serious consequences, like suspensions, showing just how much power studios had over their talent. This system created a ton of pressure and limited the careers of many stars. For example, silent film star John Gilbert's career was derailed by his contract with MGM, which restricted him and eventually ruined his career. These contracts didn't just stifle creative freedom. They forced actors into roles they didn't want, both personally and professionally. The difference between then and now is huge.
What kind of classes have you had?
I haven't had classes.
Then what are you doing here?
Today, actors have far more control and influence over their careers, a sharp contrast to the days when studios held all the power. Number 16, outsiders whispering about the town's ideology. In this city, some people feel they have to keep their opposing views quiet, as speaking out can have real consequences. The dominant ideology here refers to a radical left-leaning perspective that's been strictly enforced. Anyone who doesn't go along with it often finds themselves excluded from opportunities and discussions. It's particularly tough for those with conservative-leaning views, as they may be left out of projects, events, or social circles. This leads to both political and cultural alienation. The constant fear of being ostracized keeps many from sharing their true opinions. And the city's culture has created an environment where disagreeing with the norm feels like career suicide. A small group of people at the top have a lot of power over who succeeds, while those who think differently get pushed to the sidelines. Because of this, many people end up self-censoring to avoid being labeled problematic or alienating themselves from the community's core values. This lack of open discussion suppresses diversity of thought, making it nearly impossible for different viewpoints to thrive. In the end, creativity and innovation suffer because stepping outside the accepted norms becomes too risky and conformity becomes the safest way to survive. Number 15, the legacy of racism at Hollywood award shows.
This is West Side Story, honored by an Academy Award as the best picture.
The lack of diverse representation in Hollywood award shows highlights bigger issues within the industry. Despite some progress, racism has long been a problem at these events. A notable example is Hattie McDaniel, who made history in 1940 as the first black person to win an Oscar. While her achievement was significant, it came with its own set of challenges. In the days leading up to the ceremony, there were doubts about whether she'd even be allowed to attend. When McDaniel did show up, she was seated at a separate table from her white co-stars from Gone with the Wind, including Vivien Leigh. Despite facing such painful segregation and prejudice, McDaniel remained dignified and delivered a moving acceptance speech for Best Supporting Actress. Her experience highlighted the ongoing struggle for racial equality in the entertainment industry. McDaniel's story, along with many others, underscores the need for continued efforts to promote inclusivity and proper representation in Hollywood. Even today, issues of racial bias and underrepresentation persist, with movements like Oscars So White pointed out the lack of diverse nominations and wins. The industry must address these historical inequities and strive to create a fairer environment where recognition is truly based on merit and inclusivity. Number 14, the hidden reality of substance abuse.
Having success in his acting career, he was still very much tackling drug addiction.
What's wrong?
Come on, man. Do I look like something's wrong?
Substance use has been an open secret in Hollywood for a long time. with many stars openly admitting to their struggles with drugs. The combination of fame's pressures and easy access to drugs on set has led many celebrities down a dangerous path. Take Dennis Quaid, for example. He battled a cocaine addiction starting in the mid-1970s, right after he arrived in Los Angeles. As he gained fame, cocaine became a regular part of his life. Quaid even mentioned that cocaine was so common on movie sets.
You've been pretty open about the fact that you were a cocaine addict for a
Yeah,
while.
right.
How's that affected your life?
I grew up in the 60s and 70s, and there was a completely different attitude about it back then, and even in some movie budgets. But, I kept roaring on.
That it was often disguised in budgets as petty cash, flowing freely amongst cast and crew. Looking back, Quaid regretted his addiction and the personal demons it brought. Hollywood legends like Jack Nicholson didn't exactly hide the issue either. In a 1980 interview, he downplayed the problem, saying drugs ain't no big deal, and admitted to using them regularly. Even Dan Aykroyd, who didn't use drugs, noted that they were offered as rewards during the filming of The Blues Brothers. The normalization of drugs in Hollywood has fueled substance use disorders among many stars. With drugs so accessible and the pressure so intense, addictive behaviors have left a significant mark on careers and lives. Number 13, the pressures of beauty and body image. Hollywood is often seen as a fantasy land, yet we still idolize its classic stars for their on-screen beauty. But for icons like Marlene Dietrich, Joan Crawford, and Judy Garland, that glamour came at a steep price. Dietrich, for instance, was said to weigh herself daily and go to extreme lengths to meet impossible beauty standards. She even had her back teeth removed to make her cheekbones look more hollow, and followed grueling beauty routines like applying boric acid to her eyelids. Living under the public scrutiny, actors have often gone to dangerous extremes to maintain or achieve these unrealistic beauty standards. Judy Garland, one of Hollywood's most beloved stars, faced this harsh reality early on. At a young age, MGM reportedly put her on a dangerous diet and gave her drugs to keep her slim for the camera. While many stars today have spoken out against the pressure to be perfect, the issue persists. The pursuit of flawless appearances remains a major and troubling aspect of Hollywood, with the industry still grappling with impossible standards of beauty. Number 12, the hidden struggle of eating disorders. Some celebrities have struggled with eating disorders due to the intense pressure to look a certain way. Being in the spotlight means constant scrutiny, not just from fans, but also from agents and managers. Sometimes this pressure becomes so overwhelming that they turn to unhealthy methods to shed pounds. The intense focus can take a serious toll on their mental and physical well-being. Demi Lovato, for example, has shared how as a young child, she worried about her belly and whether it would ever be flat.
My words of encouragement to teen girls that are suffering from eating disorders, self-harm, anything, is to get help. That's the most important thing that you can do for yourself, and it can change your life and potentially save your life.
As she got older, her relationship with food became a struggle, leading to an eating disorder she still battles today. After her breakup with Wilmer Valderrama, she faced relapses, binging and purging because of the emotional strain. Similarly, plus-size model Ashley Graham recalled an agent tempting her with $20 bills, suggesting she could make a lot more if she lost weight for a red carpet event. Actress Naomi Watts also admitted to nearly starving herself before a big event. These stories highlight the harsh reality where chasing industry standards can lead to painful consequences. Number 11, pressure to be accepted by the chosen ones. In the industry, there's a lot of anxiety tied to social hierarchies. Many people believe that rubbing elbows with the chosen ones, those who are successful or hold powerful positions, can boost their chances of landing opportunities. They attend the right parties, network like crazy, and try to fit in with the elite crowd, hoping someone with the key to success will notice them. This constant striving could lead to feelings of unease and inadequacy for those who haven't been chosen. Some individuals end up tying their self-worth to the approval and recognition from these key players. In their quest to fit into elite circles, they might lose sight of their own goals and values. This creates a tense environment where relationships become transactional and personal aspirations take a backseat to social status. The pressure to fit in can even lead people to lose their own identity, adopting the traits and behaviors they think are expected of them. Fear of being overlooked might push them to compromise their authenticity, sinking deeper into insecurity. Their relentless chase for validation can be exhausting, often leaving people emotionally drained and less focused on their craft. In the end, the industry's focus on status can overshadow true talent and passion. Number 10. The casting couch is nothing new.
Welcome to the story of Megan Fox, a Hollywood star who has been vocal about the darker side of the entertainment industry. Behind the glam and shimmer lies a world that is often shrouded in secrecy, where young actors and actresses are made to feel like they have to give up their bodies to make it big.
The term casting couch refers to the exchange of sexual favors for acting roles, and it's been a problem long before the Harvey Weinstein scandal came to light. Actress Megan Fox shed some light on this ugly reality in a revealing GQ interview. She described the excitement of meeting Hollywood legends, only to realize they were using it as a ploy to put her in uncomfortable situations. Fox mentioned she'd flat out reject any advances from men in the industry who tried to exploit young women. And this isn't a new issue. Louis B. Mayer, co-founder of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, was notorious for using his power to coerce actresses into compromising situations, threatening their careers or their families. Film critic Carrie Rickey noted that other moguls, like Harry Cohn, were known for similar tactics with stars like Marilyn Monroe and Kim Novak. The casting couch isn't exclusive to Hollywood, but has become a symbol of the industry's historical culture of exploitation. Even as far back as 1924, a film titled The Casting Couch made light of this behavior. But for many actors, it was a serious issue. The Time's Up movement, sparked by the Weinstein scandal, highlighted this harassment, but it's clear that the industry still struggles with the casting couch problem. Number 9. The dark side of child stardom in Hollywood.
Use your hands? That's like a baby's toy.
Of course not. Some of my best friends are both.
Hollywood child actors have always faced serious exploitation and mistreatment. While we often remember their performances fondly, their real-life experiences can be far from heartwarming. Take Jackie Coogan, who starred in The Addams Family and had his earnings stolen by his parents. His case led to the California Child Actors Bill of 1939, which was a step toward addressing these issues, but it barely scratched the surface. Over the decades, child actors have endured harsh working conditions, with some facing incredibly cruel punishments. For instance, Shirley Temple shared in her memoir about the black box punishment, where young performers were forced to sit on a block of ice as a punishment for bad behavior. This method was even used on set to get children to cry on camera. Directors often push these kids to work long hours in conditions that are hard to imagine today. The pressure of fame took a heavy toll on young stars like Drew Barrymore, Macaulay Culkin, and Brooke Shields, causing significant emotional and psychological strain. Many were cast in roles far beyond their years, exposing them to stress that even adults would struggle with. Hollywood's troubled history with child actors highlights the urgent need for better protections and understanding. Number 8. The power of controversy and publicity stunts.
Did Kanye West destroy Kim Kardashian's family?
Kanye West had an epic meltdown.
I know you got killers. Please don't send them at my head.
Everyone thinks he's having a breakdown.
Y'all tried to lock me up.
My husband is really outspoken.
He has the best heart.
Hey, stop it! Brother, all of you stop it!
She's going to be a single.
Hollywood has always been known for its attention-grabbing publicity stunts. The industry often goes to great lengths to capture public interest. A prime example is the 2014 controversy involving Kanye West and Kim Kardashian. Their bid to land the cover of Vogue set tabloids abuzz. When Vogue's editor, Anna Wintour, actually put them on the cover, it sparked a major backlash. Many subscribers felt that featuring Kanye and Kim tarnished the magazine's prestigious reputation, and some even threatened to cancel their subscriptions. Wintour later explained that the decision was driven by a need for fresh exposure. Despite the uproar, the cover achieved its goal by bringing Vogue to a wider audience. This incident shows that in the world of entertainment, even negative attention can serve a purpose. Publicity stunts are often designed to be provocative, aiming to generate buzz, whether it's positive or controversial. The impact of these stunts can range from increased media coverage to changes in consumer behavior and brand perception. Ultimately, celebrities and media outlets use controversy to their advantage, knowing that shock value keeps them at the center of public attention. Number 7. Paparazzi for hire and the celebrity photo game.
I want to be a Spider-Man before Kobe! Let him go, you can't see! We got you blocked! Let him go, you can't see! You can't block him in!
If you spot a celebrity striking a posed look in a tabloid photo or on a gossip site, there's a good chance it's all planned. Back in 2016, a photographer revealed that many celebs stage their photos to have more control over their public image. Kim Kardashian, for example, is known for being super hands-on with her photos. She frequently texts her personal photographer and invites him to shoot her wherever she travels. Before any pics are sold to magazines, Kardashian goes through them and makes sure they're heavily edited. This isn't a new trick. Spencer Pratt and Heidi Montag from MTV's The Hills had a similar setup with Pacific Coast News long before Kardashian mastered the art. They would create cheesy, over-the-top images that were then licensed to magazines worldwide. Pratt called it the best job ever, and he and Montag made over $1 million from these staged photos. For celebrities, it's a win-win. They get to control their image and make money, while fans often have no idea the candid shots were carefully arranged long before they hit the tabloids. Number 6. Hollywood fixers are the masters of scandal control. When it comes to Hollywood, the drama of stars' lives often outshines their blockbuster roles. But when scandal strikes, celebrities rely on a secret weapon to clean up the mess, without the public catching on: the fixer. These pros specialize in making problems, whether criminal activities, PR disasters, or hush-hush secrets, disappear. One of the most famous fixers is Michael Citrick, known as the Spinmeister. He has a knack for turning negative press into positive stories. Celebs like David Lee Roth and former NFL star Michael Vick have turned to him when they're in hot water. If you notice a sudden wave of positive stories about a celeb in trouble, there's a good chance someone like Citrick is working behind the scenes to shift the narrative. Other notable fixers include former private investigator Anthony Pellicano and producer Eddie Mannix, who was notorious for covering up scandals. Mannix's shady dealings inspired movies like the Coen brothers' Hail Caesar and Hollywoodland. In an industry where image is everything, fixers are essential for salvaging reputations and helping celebrities move past their controversies, allowing them to keep their careers on track despite life's challenges. Number 5. The struggles of underpaid writers in Hollywood.
More than 11,000 Hollywood film and TV writers are on strike.
Hey! Ho ho! Writers, make your favorite shows! Hey, hey!
This isn't the first time a major writer's strike has put Hollywood on the brink of a full production shutdown.
Good visual media starts with a solid script, but writers often get the short end of the stick. They've been facing issues like low salaries, poor benefits, and no residuals, not to mention the looming threat of AI taking over their jobs. By 2023, fed up with these ongoing problems, film and TV writers decided to strike after failing to get a fair deal from the studios. The strike, led by the WGA, went on for over 140 days and brought much-needed attention to the tough conditions writers endure. Stories of writers struggling financially made headlines, highlighting the critical issues in the industry. The strike not only showcased the persistent problem of underpayment, but also raised concerns about fair compensation and job security. especially with the rapid advancement of technology. The strike was eventually resolved after lengthy negotiations, emphasizing the need for continued advocacy and reform. It underscored the importance of valuing writers properly for their essential contributions to the entertainment industry. The hope is that these efforts will lead to better treatment and fairer compensation for the people who craft the stories we all love to watch. Number 4, mistreatment of animals. The phrase, "no animals were harmed in the making of this film," is a comforting note that often appears at the end of movie credits. But it's not always the whole truth. Sadly, animal mistreatment has been a dark part of Hollywood from the very beginning. Classic films like Stagecoach and the 1925 version of Ben-Hur are notorious for the cruelty animals faced, sometimes leading to their suffering or even death for dramatic scenes. Unfortunately, the issue hasn't gone away. For example, the 2012 film Life of Pi faced major backlash when it was revealed that the animal actors were exposed to unsafe and harsh conditions. These cases highlight a troubling trend where, in the pursuit of cinematic perfection, animal welfare has often been compromised. The history of animal mistreatment in Hollywood underscores the need for much stricter oversight and ethical practices on film sets. Even with more awareness and regulations today, the industry's worrying legacy reminds us that we must remain vigilant to ensure that animal actors are treated with the care and respect they deserve. Number 3, Hollywood as a cult-like atmosphere. Hollywood can sometimes feel like a cult, where everyone is expected to fit a specific mold. The industry has its own set of norms and behaviors, almost like a groupthink mentality that can seem pretty out there if you're not part of it. The term wild-ass cult of weirdness captures how this groupthink makes people act in ways that might seem bizarre outside that bubble. Newcomers, whether they're artists or industry insiders, often start mirroring these strange behaviors and ideas just to fit in. Being part of this cult means you're surrounded by a narrow, insular worldview where anything different is quickly dismissed. This creates an echo chamber where creativity and individuality can get squashed. People become so focused on fitting in that they lose touch with reality and other perspectives. Ironically, the pressure to belong in this exclusive circle can make people blind to how shallow or random the industry's values and practices might be. This creates a cycle where the drive for acceptance overshadows personal growth and critical thinking, trapping individuals in a loop of conformity rather than encouraging genuine self-expression and creativity. Number 2, on-set affairs and scandals.
Now I got to be with you at the press conference while you to tell the world about your transgressions.
Actors spend a lot of time on set, often more with their co-stars and crew than with their own partners. This creates a perfect storm for on-set flings and infidelity. Long hours, intense passion, and occasional lapses in judgment can lead to these relationships. While some flings fizzle out when the cameras stop rolling, many turn into public scandals, long-term affairs, or even marriages. The constant proximity and emotional highs on set blur the lines between professional and personal. Take Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, for example. Their romance began while filming Mr. and Mrs. Smith, despite Pitt being married to Jennifer Aniston at the time. Jolie was labeled a homewrecker, and Pitt's marriage fell apart amid media frenzy. Eventually, Jolie and Pitt married, but the scandal left its mark. Kristen Stewart faced similar backlash after her affair with Snow White and the Huntsman director Rupert Sanders came to light, even though she was dating her Twilight co-star Robert Pattinson. These high-profile cases show that infidelity is sadly common in Hollywood. Such scandals not only affect personal lives but also impact the industry, changing public perception and career trajectories. Number 1, influencers and reality stars worsening the situation.
Babe, wake up, wake up, wake up!
I didn't want to go to the party. I wanted to go to the party to scare bitches.
For the past few years, TikTok has been the fastest growing social media platform in the world. It currently boasts around 1 billion active users.
The rise of social media influencers TikTokers and reality stars has completely changed the fame game. The internet has made it possible for anyone to gain massive followings without needing traditional Hollywood support. But this shift has also led to a culture where people will do almost anything for attention, often without relying on talent or authenticity. Reality TV stars and online influencers have redefined what success looks like, making the competition for fame more intense than ever. This new dynamic has added pressure in Hollywood. It's no longer just about impressing powerful industry figures. Now it's about surviving in a fast-changing media world. It's like a hurricane of confusion where old rules don't apply, and everyone is chasing the next big thing, though that fame often feels short-lived. With new influencers constantly emerging, even those who manage to reach the top find staying there is another battle. The constant need for reinvention creates a cycle of instability and superficiality. As a result, many people feel the pressure to perform and conform, often losing themselves in the pursuit of relevance in this ever-changing industry. And that wraps it up on our look at the 20 dark truths about Hollywood and California. It's been wild uncovering what's really going on behind all the glitz. If these truths hit you hard, don't forget to smash that like button and let us know what you think in the comments. Which one shocked you the most? We're excited to hear your thoughts. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.